right, Pickle, it's time for Mailbag Friday, brought to you by our good friends, the North Texas Honda dealers. It's their job to help. They are, or they're here to help, I think is the phrase. It's their job to help.
I don't think their
it
slogan
also
is
that
it's their
too.
job to help.
Their job to help. The Helpful Honda dealers are North Texas Honda dealer, the proud sponsor. Well, let's see how the questions go. Let's see how proud they are to sponsor the North Texas Honda dealers Mailbag Friday. So thank you to the North Texas Honda dealers. They're here to help. Do we have any questions from the comment? By the way, we also have the text line, 972-532-6665, 972-5-DAMN-OK, 972-532-MONK.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to text us a question, there it is. So you can text us a question if you have questions. High school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel, Pickle's top 10.
Oh, the sand crabs.
Portland vodka, Calhoun. It's very good. It's very good. Hey, here's the thing.
Definitely skipped over
Here's the problem
that
with the top 10. Here's the problem with the top 10. Can't, you're having trouble. Our good friend Bill Connolly, Texas Football Today's own Bill Connolly, put out a list today. I think it was like the 60. I think he ranked the top 60 quarterbacks of the 2000s of this decade.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, is that right? Yeah, the 60 best quarterbacks of the 2000s, and his mentions are a dumpster fire because how are you gonna, how are you gonna leave off this guy? That's the same thing with here. There are too many good mascots across the state.
Mm-hmm.
All right, do we have any questions from the commentariat?
Yes, here we go. We will start off with this one from Rob Hadaway. I'm hearing Hudson Card has an edge over Casey Thompson as QB1. What has DCTF insiders heard? What's your opinion on that?
So we've heard the same things. And one thing that I think is really interesting, I think a lot of what's coming out is there were some comments from Sam Ellinger. I think he talked with Anwar Richardson over at, I want to make sure I get his website right, because if I were to mention a competitor, he would probably be very, very mad. Anwar, good buddy Anwar, is over at orangebloods.com, and I believe he told him, he talked with Sam Ellinger, and Sam Ellinger had some really, really good things to say about Hudson Card, basically saying, like, man, like, just the way he spins it is just different. Like, he just throws the ball in such a way that Sam Ellinger was kind of in awe of. And let's also not count out the fact that is a Westlake guy saying that about a Lake Travis guy. So that's noteworthy.
Yeah, there's some blood there.
there's some love lost there, I would say. And so, I think it's very interesting. Hudson Card is a guy who Hudson Card, I'm comfortable saying right now, is probably a little bit more dynamic in the open field, a little bit more dynamic escaping the pocket. I have not, I'll be entirely honest, I have not watched enough Casey Thompson film to be able to comment on his ability outside the pocket. What I will say is I have watched a lot of Hudson Card film, and I know how good Hudson Card is outside the pocket. So that would be my initial takeaway, is I wonder if Steve Sarkisian is looking for a guy who is a little bit more mobile. Now, I think that's a little interesting, considering if you look at who he's had at quarterback for at Alabama, and obviously he's not necessarily the decision maker at Alabama when he's the offensive coordinator, but you're talking about Mac Jones. Mac Jones, I do not think would classify as mobile. I think he's functionally mobile, but he's not a runner. Tua Tagovailoa is modestly mobile, but I don't think anybody would say that he's a runner. Hudson Card is closer to a runner. He is closer to a guy who is a lot more dangerous to take and a threat to take off. A guy that you probably need to think about spying. Let's put it that way.
Right.
So I wonder if
that goes a long way in the Big 12.
Sure. And so I would say that I wonder if we're starting to learn a little bit more about what Steve Sarkisian wants from a quarterback if he's able to go out there. Or it may just be a fact that he likes the way Hudson Card throws the ball more than he likes the way that Casey Thompson throws the ball. It'll be interesting to see.
I feel like a little bit of it, too, is we also it's hard to say anything right now because we don't know what kind of a head coach Sark is. Like, which one does he go for? Which one does he like? That's the other thing that makes this like, well, is he looking for someone who's more mobile, or does he want to stick with the same Alabama type of let the receivers do the work type of thing,
Yes. I'm very interested to see the quarterback. But I think a lot of people are focusing on who's going to take over for Kellen Mond at A&M, and I think that's a big question too. I think that there's, if you think about it, there are questions at all 4. No, Max Duggan's back. But 4 of the 5 Power 5 teams in the state of Texas are replacing quarterbacks, right? Mm-hmm. Now, Alan Bowman, we can certainly talk about whether or not he was the starting quarterback at Tech, but Texas is replacing Sam Ehlinger, A&M's replacing Kellen Mond, Baylor's replacing Charlie Brewer, and then again Alan Bowman. Your mileage may vary as to whether or not you considered him the starter to begin with. So it'll be very interesting to see, and I think we'll learn a lot about the way that Steve Sarkisian wants to run a program if he's able to go out there and depending on who he chooses as the quarterback. So keep an eye on that. What's next, Pickle?
This is a kind of a programming question that we've gotten asked a couple times this week.
Sure.
And it really is a question for everyone's favorite Ishmael Johnson. But there has been some demand for one show being about basketball before the state championships happen.
That's an interesting idea, and definitely one we haven't thought of.
No.
I'm kidding. Stay tuned. That's all I'll say. All I'll say is stay tuned. We have some things in the works. We're trying to we have some things in the works. I'm not at liberty to expound on that. I will say that's a good idea.
I think we
and
can
it's a good idea that we share.
I think we can definitely try and work Ish into a segment at least before the state championships.
I will. Yes, I think there are bigger plans, but yes, at the very least, I promise you at least a little bit of Ishmael Johnson talking high school basketball
before state championships happen.
Don't worry about that. We're on the same page there. So, good question. What's next, Pickle?
No questions yet. If y'all have more questions, please send them in.
Come on, you people.
But I will ask you a question.
Okay.
Right now, we've all been locked down for basically a year now.
Mm-hmm.
If money was not even an issue, if you could go one place for a week right now, anywhere in the world, where would you go? You said travel was...
You said a week?
Yeah. If you could go for...
okay, so by the way...
Go 2 weeks, because then that kind of opens up a little bit.
That changes my opinion either way.
Okay.
Are we working under the assumption that we're going to poof COVID away? Like COVID no longer exists?
Say literally there is not a worry in the world. Money does not matter.
We're back to March 2019.
March 2019,
okay.
And you were given a trip allowance that just you could go anywhere.
See, here's the thing. You said a week, and I'm saying the place I want to go, I don't want to go for a week, but I do want to go for 48 hours.
Vegas.
I got that itch, baby. I am itching very, very hard to go to Vegas because I think everybody here knows that I'm a degenerate gambler. But yes, that Vegas is one of them. I've always said that the place I want to go the most is Japan.
That's interesting.
Go to Tokyo. I would want to Tokyo and kind of surrounding areas. I would want to time it because. And I don't want to go during the Olympics because the Olympics are just a mess. And I've been to the Olympics. So
that's cool. Where?
Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
We live there.
Yeah.
And so the thing that I would say, I would want to time it so that it's not during the Olympics, and also I want to go to a baseball game in Japan.
I was gonna ask, is there a event type of thing that you're really wanting to, or is it just because it is so different from here? Like it's a total culture change.
It's a culture change. Everything's ancient, which is amazing.
Okay.
Like everything we think of as old over here is like
way new.
Is just tiny babies compared to what's over there in Japan. I love the history, and it's an elite. I think the food there is awesome, and so yeah, that would probably be the place that I would zap to if you gave me the opportunity. Why? I bet you're thinking beach.
I would go to Australia in a heartbeat.
Okay.
I have always wanted to go to Australia. I've said that's probably my next like big trip that I would enjoy going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like there's a good mix of beach time, which is big for me, but I also like if I have a week or two with just no worries about anything, I also want to do some actual traveling and looking around and seeing different stuff. So Australia would be the place for me there. Not a bad choice. See a kangaroo.
Yeah.
I think that would be pretty sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meet a hot surfer guy. It's all in the works here. I need to go to Australia.
All right. There's also I will also say that I think one of the reasons that Japan would scare people off is the language barrier.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's obviously not a problem there.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed when I went to Ireland because Ireland kind of had that. It was a really good mix of there's no language barrier. I mean, there is because those people talk crazy. Shout out to OSW Review, but they talk a little bit crazy, but it's still in the same language. It just takes a little bit longer to figure out. Oh yeah, they're nice, and we share a common.
As long as you're drinking, they don't care who you are or where you're from.
we share a common interest.
Yep.
In that, and being a little bit Irish, as you can tell by my complexion, helps there. Okay. Do we have any other questions?
Yes, we do. Now they started coming in.
Good, you jerks.
We'll go to some football real fast. Tim Latimer asked, "What do you think of Reuben Owens, who recently,
big Texas,
very recently,
big Texas show tonight? It was last night, early this morning, something
it was
like
last
that.
Night,
last night. I went to Betty Bye. But apparently, while I was tucked away in my little football bed, arguably the number one recruit in the class of 2023, Reuben Owens, the running back from El Campo, committed to Texas. Couple of thoughts. One, continues a heater that Steve Sarkisian's on, especially on the offensive side. I think when you hire a guy like Steve Sarkisian, who is known as an offensive guru, who was the offensive coordinator for the national champions, right? Mm-hmm. When you hire that guy, you expect people to want to come play for him. I think that you are seeing that a little bit there. I think that there is a lot of time between now and signing day for him, and an early verbal commitments are non-binding. But that said, this is a really big get for them. Especially considering, if you look over the course of their, they have Bijan Robinson, right? Obviously, he kind of represents the future at the running back spot, or the immediate future. But if you remember, recently, they have not been super deep at the running back spot. They've had to move like Rashawn Johnson over from fundamentally like quarterback / wide receiver to running back. So they have not been super deep. He would represent an A1, number one, fantastic, go-to running back to probably, at that point, I think the hope would probably be by the time he gets to the 40 acres that Bijan Robinson has been so good for the next 2 years that he's off to the NFL draft maybe.
Oh, yeah.
And so then he could take over for him. So obviously a very good get for Texas. Class 2023, I will just say it's a long time between now and then.
Right.
And I think that everybody's going to be after him.
Mm-hmm.
This is not going to stop his phone from ringing.
Oh no.
I do think that obviously for them to get this early pledge is very, very promising and may signal that Sarkisian's message is landing, especially offensively.
I was going to say, I think too, it kind of sounds the alarm for other 2023 athletes. Like, oh, okay, well, if he's going to go sign there, like. The moment I hear from Texas, I want to go sign there because
you think about that, like that's kind of the new. That's the. I think one of the things that the social media age has brought on in recruiting is your pledges and your signees become part of your recruiting staff, right? Bryce Foster, we just talked with him Wednesday here on Texas Football Today. The A&M commit, the A&M signee, I should say. He's out there pounding the pavement to get guys, hey, come be part of A&M.
Right, exactly.
And so having him out there, and he is Reuben Owens is he is active on social media. We'll say
he's very vocal in person too.
He's a guy who he's going to be if he is. I think that Texas can now also count him as a 2023. I don't want to say cheerleader because that's advocate. Sounds like a guy who's gonna fly the flag. He's gonna go out there and do that, and I think that is also very important for Texas going forward. So overall, it's pretty good news, I would say, for the Longhorns.
Absolutely.
What's next?
Hi, my name is Matt Stepp, and I have a question. Can the esteemed staff please tell me a Texas high school football rivalry game they've never attended but they would love to see in person.
Okay, well, we need to go search for some esteemed staff then.
Yeah, it's not us. Kendall!
Yeah, Kendall. Poor woman's 8 months
8 months pregnant.
She's getting bullied. 7 months pregnant. Yeah, getting bullied by us. I've never been to Mid-County Madness, so I've never been to the Bumfield. So I've never been to P&G versus Nederland. That's probably number one on my list. That's probably the one. But
Dangerfield and is it Dangerfield and Paul Pugh? No, who am I thinking of?
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty big one out there in East Texas. If that's the one you want to go with, that's pretty big. I think that that's one that I would say is up there. Selfishly, I want to go to the Battle of the Claw, which is El Paso and El Paso Austin.
Mm-hmm.
I know that people are like, El Paso and El Paso Austin. That game better be played at R.R. Jones, and I'll be there. By the way, this is another. Let me broadcast for one person here for a moment,
okay.
And you can clip this and send it to him. Right.
Okay.
Coach Ray Aguilar at El Paso High School. This is a message for you. If you thought we forgot about asking you to schedule a Thursday night game,
please,
so that at R.R. Jones Stadium, so that we can come out to a game, we did not forget.
We want it very badly.
Want it very badly. This is a message to you, Ray Aguilar Jr., the coach at El Paso High School. Thank you. Okay, back to the show. Yeah, that's one, and then I've never one of my big holes in my resume is that I've never been to a game, let alone one of the big rivalry games in the Rio Grande Valley, and that is an enormous yawning chasm in my Texas high school football resume, and I need to get there.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have one more? Do we have an ender or no? Was that the ender?
No, we have an ender.
Okay.
If you could change one mascot to something new,
easy.
What would it be?
Easy. And this is, again, a broadcast for one person. This time, it's my wife.
My wife.
If you were to go to, what county is it in? If you were to go out to beautiful, scenic Winkler County, way out in West Texas, way out where where the state makes a right angle.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
You go out there. You're just north of Wink. You're north of Monahans.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything between there? Really, there's nothing on
it's
18
kind of flat.
between there. Yeah, there's nothing really between this place, the county seat of Winkler County, and New Mexico border. If you're going north, you'll find Kermit, Texas. And Kermit is the Yellow Jackets. And I want to be very clear. Hey, I like Yellow Jackets. Mm-hmm. You're a Yellow Jacket.
I was. Sting 'em.
You're a Yellow Jacket.
An orange Yellow Jacket, but a Yellow Jacket
I like the
nonetheless.
Yellow Jackets. Growing up when I lived in Atlanta, I liked Georgia Tech.
There you go.
Georgia Tech, the Yellow Jackets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a rambling wreck from Georgia Tech and a hell of an engineer. But it is a crying shame that they are not a certain amphibious green animal. Okay? Yeah. And I understand that there is probably some copyright issues to go along with that.
Yeah, that is okay, yeah.
You got to be super careful about that.
Mm-hmm. But
that has been my long-standing...
I feel like the frogs shouldn't be copyrighted.
Which,
now,
by the
like,
way,
the frog,
now,
totally
by the way, I believe that there is... so Lake Worth is the bullfrogs. They're the bullfrogs. But from what I understand, that is the only frog or frog-adjacent mascot in the state of Texas. It is a slam dunk. It is tailor-made. That is the one that is always stuck in my heart.
Step said they're maroon and gold Yellow Jackets too, which makes it that much more frustrating.
Come on!
Okay.
I'm gonna move to Kermit. I'm gonna become the mayor. Or I guess I got to be like I'm gonna get elected to the school board.
Yeah, you don't even need to be the mayor.
My only issue I'm gonna run on is we're changing this mascot to the frogs. 'Cause come on, guys, it's there for you. It's like if there were a town named Mickey.
Yeah.
or a town named Fozzie.
The mice.
If there was a town named Fozzie and you named yourself the Elks.
Yeah.
Come on! We're better than this.
I always said real fast, and I'm just going to throw that out there again for anyone at the Atlanta scoreboard who might be listening, but you should be the Atlanta Llamas. Spit 'em.
What was that?
Spit.
Yeah, I'm on board with that one, too.
It should be that. It's alliteration, too. You've got LL.
Oh.
Lano.
Oh.
Llamas.
Pickle.
Come on.
Pickle. I get it. You don't have to sell me on it.
There.
It's gonna do